4 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have any public comment? If not, JD, I guess you're up.
J.D. King, Page County Engineer. It's a good day in Page County. I sent out the engineer update with some other documents yesterday afternoon. We're blading, although we might not blade all week. It's getting dry. And we're looking for some moisture. We're hauling some rock in the territories based on where the blade man would like some rock. We're pulling the shear off the new hoe. Get ready, they'll be doing beaver dams the rest of the week. We're not quite digging pipe yet. In the old hoe, we're got some brush to pile, and then after that, we're gonna bring it into the shop. We got some work to do on the hydraulic cylinders. And they're mowing brush and cutting brush still around the county. The single axle truck that was tipped over in a snow event about a month ago was sent up to Des Moines for repair. It's unlikely that we'll have it fixed by the time we need it fixed, so we're contemplating buying a used single axle truck without snow equipment to pull our spray patcher. I don't have a number on that yet, but it'll be a real handicap not to have that spray patcher working on our seal coats and our pavements. We got 45 back from Omaha. A couple of motor graders, number 8 and number 1, have been into the shop for a service, and we pulled off their snow wings. And then next week, I should have a list of equipment for disposal.
Okay.
We're gonna put some vehicles in an online auction. Work continues on the Essex North Bridge. All the beams were set last week like was stated. And so they're forming the deck, working on the diaphragms and ends and sides. Well, they don't have overhangs on yet, but they're doing form work. So there'll be a while on that task. Then they'll put steel on the deck and have a deck pour hopefully in April. April's a good time for a deck pour. On Thursday, we have a pre-construction meeting for the J64 guardrail job. We got a safety meeting on Wednesday with the crew. There's an RPA meeting on Thursday via Zoom. And we need to make some progress on a parking lot by the annex there.
We'll talk about it.
Okay, when do you want to talk about it?
I'm going to talk to Mr. Varley about selling the building.
Okay.
So then we'll move forward and see what we do.
I want.
Do you have a drawing for an idea for the parking lot? Okay.
We do
Okay.
have a parking lot. We have a couple of quotes.
Okay,
I'm waiting on a third quote yet.
okay. You can bring those to us.
We have alternatives between an asphalt parking lot and a concrete parking lot. And then the weak sister Weak Sister parking lot would just be rock as an interim measure.
Okay,
And when you go to sell the building, I would want the board to remember that back in 1980, the Secondary Roads Department purchased that and transferred money to the general fund
okay,
for that building.
okay.
So if there's any proceeds, we'd like to use that for the parking lot.
We will remember that.
Okay.
Okay.
And on the questions for the update.
Back to the truck that went to Des Moines that rolled over, is that insurance taking care of that, or what's?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
If we can move on to the next agenda item with the rock petition.
Okay,
We don't get a lot of rock petitions these days, but we do get some. And there's also a project in the southwest part of the county that will end up, I believe, having several rock petitions when they need access, all-weather access to their turbines.
okay,
The policy we're operating right now was updated last in 2011. Before that, got updated in November of 2001. The rate of rock per mile has varied between 1,200, 1,500, and I'm proposing 2,000 tons per mile.
okay,
The language of the policy is fine. It's just the rate of the rock. Those are heavier these days than they used to be 20 years ago.
okay. Do I hear a motion to change the rock application from 1,200 tons per mile to 2,000 tons per mile?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay,
I would like to make one more comment to item number 12. It's a budget thing.
okay,
Based on the transfers you've sent to the secondary roads, which is less than last year, I have reduced my expenditures by $430,000. The majority of that is in the new equipment,
the majority of it's what?
from new equipment.
Okay,
So instead of 950,000, we've reduced it to 620,000. Okay, thank you.
okay, thank you. Do we need to sign anything on that, JD, on the rock application, or that's just, okay? Okay, just make sure we have it in the minutes.
Sure, it's in a minute.
Make sure in the minutes, okay.
You wanted to call it a rock petition policy, right? So you want to call it in the minutes?
Okay. Okay. Jeff Curtis is online, I believe. You're
Good
right there.
afternoon, everybody.
Jeff.
Jeff?
How we doing today?
Okay, how are you?
Good, 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 good. Down on site today, we were meeting with the MEP contractors, going over footing and foundation install and the schedule as far as getting that going. So that's progressing really nicely. Snyder and Associates will be on site and part of this week, get the construction staking ready to go for Stickler Concrete's team, start digging and placing footings and foundations. Continuing submittal processes going on. We're working with the precaster, finalizing the rest of the shop drawings as far as penetrations, anything larger than 12 inches that have to have special blockouts put into the precast. We are still trending and tracking for the end part of May per schedule, so everything seems to be going really well. The actual site itself is nice and dry, like JD was alluding to. It is awful dry out there, which is kind of a switch from last week for the proposed groundbreaking. So that'll be again tomorrow at 3:30 on site. From there, everything else seems to be trending and tracking really well. Any questions or concerns that any of you folks have?
A couple weeks ago, you were, I think, saying something about tariffs playing maybe making an issue with some of the quotes and things. Is that still being a problem, or
As of right now, we experienced, I want to say it was about a $5,000 increase in a couple of pieces of HVAC equipment is what he was anticipating, but he was going to get that verified prior to any issues coming through with that. But he does have that captured in that deductive change order. So everything is still trending like we had anticipated with our overall budget. So as of right now, I don't see any other potential items. The one thing that we will be procuring right away that is going to be part of the Warner contingency was the purchase of the generator through the buyers group through the state. So that process will start here in about 2 weeks when we plan on getting that finalized and going with that. So something that all the trade partners have been challenged with to verify, and we'll address it as we come. I know on other projects, so far, nobody has seen any dramatic things. Nice thing is a lot of the steels and stuff, sounds like the manufacturers had those on hand, ready to go. So we'll keep trending and tracking that. We'll get our procurement log finalized and keep tracking that.
Okay, thanks.
Okay,
Sounds good. Okay,
alrighty, well, we'll plan on seeing you folks tomorrow.
Yep.
okay, sounds great. See you, Jeff.
Alrighty, take care.
Thank you. Okay. All right, next up is to discuss action on the farm lease. Brian, I'll defer to you on that one.
I think I'll let Justin go ahead and have it, and we can kind of discuss it after that.
Good afternoon. Yeah, I was just coming in today to just kind of bring everybody up to speed. I don't come in very often, you know. There's of course a lot going on with the jail out there, and everything seems to be going smooth. The lease is up this year, and so was just wanting to talk about ideas for, there's a few things that the 3-year lease doesn't really fit well. One of them is the farm's gonna need lime again, and a lime application is traditionally a 4 to 5 year residual. And also, I think something was brought up, maybe there's another farm in the county that the county owns that's on a 5-year lease already. Our family actually rents the landfill farm as well, and we were just thinking with the lime and then also just with general management that like a 5-year lease would work good to renew, whether it's bid or I've got another proposal as well, but a 5-year lease would make a lot of sense, especially tying it to the lime schedule. One of the other ideas I had was, we do this on quite a few other farms. The Iowa State, I'm trying to think of the ag decision maker tool. It's the people that run that also run it's a cash rent third-party survey that they do in every county of the state, and also take all those reports so that it would be a third-party way of establishing a cash rent, whether that be every year or you could do it every 5, or obviously another option is to continue doing what we're doing is bidding the farm. When we first rented the farm, there was a lot of interest. We had a lot of bids. The last time there was, I think, only one. I think I was the only bid. And so it just brought it to my attention that, you know, I would be willing to do that. It's a third-party survey that is, you know, there's quite a few responses. You can Google it. It's on Ag Decision Maker. If you just Google cash rent surveys, Iowa State Extension. And you can kind of see, I did it before I came in here, and the average for high third Page County farmland, which would be what, you know, it's good farm, obviously. So in the high third, it was really close to what I'm paying right now with the bid that we proposed, which was $316 an acre for High Third, Page County. So it would be a way to also do it if we didn't feel that the bid was, process was a valid approach. We could use that as well. So, but I think a 5-year would be great, and knowing that the lease is coming up now, we wouldn't have to go through the process quite as many times. And I know when the Woldruff family had it, I think they rented it for almost 50 years.
Years.
Yeah.
A lot of years.
And they were able to kind of negotiate that without bringing up a bid every time. And we're obviously confident in being able to take care of the farm and still be aggressive with the payment, but maybe not have to, bid the last dollar every time that came up. So we wanted to also let you guys know, I never come to the board and really ask for money or anything like that. So, and I'm glad to do these things. We cleared all the trees off the terraces again this winter. All the fertilizer's been applied, of course, we're ready to plant. We did some cover crops. We flew some turnips on this last fall. And so that was something new that we did. There is a little bit of work if there was money in the budget, probably more so fence. We cleared all the trees also along the highway. I got impatient with the state to do it, so I just did it myself. But at any rate, you don't have to put that in the minutes. So
I'm just writing.
but at any rate, it looks nice. We took the trees out around the corner because now you can see that, some of the best dirt on the farm there is right there on the Page Center turn. So we took all those trees out, and mulched all of those, and they were just scrub trees. They were overgrown stuff in the fence line, and then took all the trees out on the terraces. There was a few dead trees in the pasture that had fell over, so we piled those. And otherwise, I think things are really going pretty smooth, and the jail has not really caused any issues. Everything we're sharing that lane, and that seems to be working fine.
Okay.
So.
You got rid of the pile there, the house?
Yes, that's all.
I noticed that. I was down there the other day.
Yeah.
Just drove in, so that looks good.
It looks nice.
Yes.
They did a good job with that.
Yes. Was it
Did
buried?
they burn it or bury it?
They burn it and then buried the
Oh,
remainder.
buried the remain, okay.
Yeah, most of it burnt. So that went well. Hopefully they did that before the burn ban went on. So.
I'm assuming they did when we had snow on the ground at some point. but-
Yeah, I think they did. They
But
did.
you asked about funds. There is money to put back in there if you need it for
Yeah, and
some
then
things, so.
I appreciate that. There's just at some point, it's working fine the way it is. But the couple things just that come to mind is some of the fence maybe could be repaired. Now, I know that might be contingent on future plans of if there's continued growth for, other businesses to move south. That probably needs to be discussed before there's fence built. But we've been able to kind of get by with that. The one thing that I might bring up is on the East 40, the trees have really overgrown on the East 40, on the east side of the highway there. And the neighbor to the south kind of cleaned their half this last winter. And I wouldn't mind proposing the balance of those trees. There's no hardwoods in there. Those could be cleaned, and then whoever's farming the county farm, and then Mr. Humphrey owns the farm to the south. He cleaned his. That might be a good investment for the future, so we could farm right up next to each other. The way that fence line got it was about 100 feet wide of just thick brush, and it just kept getting wider over the years. That might be something that, we could take a look at, and it'd be a good investment to clear those out before those trees, how it goes every year, it costs more and they just keep getting bigger.
Right.
And it would be something we could either look at doing ourselves with a bid, or if the county, I don't know if they, can do things like that as far as where that's county land. I'm not sure how that works, but we would be willing to do it as well. So, but that's something that could be done. And there's little things on the buildings I know when this had been, maybe when I first rented it, they were talking about taking the crib down, because it's not the best, but it's not, I don't think it's a hazard. But but the or the cattle shed is in pretty good shape. We did lose one door on it in a windstorm. Otherwise, it's in pretty good shape. But so, at any rate, seems to be in pretty good shape. And questions on the farm?
When you talked about I don't know much about farming,
No, that's okay.
but when you talked about the lime, and you talked about the landfill, you farm that.
Correct.
Can you do the two together with the lime, or?
Yeah, good question. So there's a lot of different ways to handle it. You know, it usually comes in semi-load lots, and then what we use, once we put the base down, we usually use an annual product called Pell Lime every year to kind of just add maintenance to it. So we could do it individually or do them both at the same time. It's and anymore, it used to be we just spread the whole farm, and now it's a variable rate. Some places might need a couple ton to the acre, and then some zones in the farm may not need any. But usually about every 5 years, 4 to 5 years, we rebalance that with an ag lime application.
So probably haven't done it out here for a while then.
I did it, so I did it when I first started farming it, and then I've just been adding Pell Lime since then, every year, to 200 to 300 pounds to the acre, and in a variable rate system, of course, but usually it averages around 200. The ag lime, eventually the pHs will get low enough where it's really not cost effective to use the Pell Lime, because it is a pelletized form and it's more expensive. So we like to try to balance that about every 5 years.
Okay.
Otherwise,
What have you been growing out there have you been doing row crop, or is
Yep.
it just
good question.
pasture? Hey, I know there's cattle, some right there close by, but I didn't know.
You bet. No, good question. So we generally do winter, just a few cows there.
Oh, okay.
And then we usually take 1 to 2 cuttings of hay off the pasture and then fall graze it. So it's been working good. It kind of looks nice when people come into town. It's not growing up. So we fertilize it and then cut it in the spring, and then usually once in the fall. And then we use the cattle to kind of clean up the edges and the ditch there that you can't hay.
Right.
And we've had to put electric fence, and I think it was this way when Woodruff's had it years ago. The water gap is an issue by the bridge there, so every once in a while I get a phone call that
Cattle are out.
the beef are running, but we've really been pretty good here lately. We haven't had anything out all winter. And then on the crop side, we've been doing a standard rotation of corn and soybeans. So it's in all one crop, so,
Okay.
yeah.
So on the lease, is that per acre for everything, or is that just on the crop, rotation crop, or
Yeah, good-
different for pasture?
Good question. So when I bid the farm, if I recall, the split was about $150 an acre on the pasture / hay ground. And then it was around $325, I think, on the crop acre. So if you took my payment and split it between the pasture and the crop ground, which maybe is a little, I mean, you could slice that however you wanted, but that's when I put the bid together. That's kind of the numbers per acre that I got to my last bid, that I think was for a 3-year term, and this would be the last year, so. Just some ideas. Obviously, we want to farm the farm long-term. We've been here a long time, and we enjoy farming the farm, but we also know we want to be fair about the situation. But I like, if we're going to be here a long time, we like long-term leases if we can, to kind of farm it like we own it, essentially, so that we're not depleting any nutrients or anything like that. We're able to keep those nutrients up, and obviously then keeps the production up. And so, yeah, I told Brian I'd come in and kind of just bring a update and answer any questions, because I know there's times we don't talk a lot about it, but the farm does, we think it looks very nice, and if there's anything that needs done, we certainly want to know about it. We want to do the right thing, so.
How much fence do we need to worry about or think about?
Good question. So, I had a couple neighbors that said, boy, that, the fence along Page Center is not the best, and it's really not very good, but it's also the fence that's along the crop ground. So we only graze those cows out there in the wintertime for a couple months. Personally, the fence, we can make that do. I think it's more just a preference of the board probably, how they, how you want that to
Aesthetically look.
look. Right, and so if there's some money there, I don't know if the county would comply, but there's quite a lot of fence cost shares out there for the private sector anyway, to build the fence right now through the USDA. And it'll cover most of the cost. So it might be, if the county can utilize those programs, it would be a good time in that respect to go ahead and get it done while there's some cost share funds there as well.
Sounds like a good idea.
Just something to think about if you're looking for things to improve the farm and put the fence and maybe those trees. Otherwise, really, it's been going well.
How do you go about that?
What's
How
that?
do you go about the cost share? with
Oh,
that?
well, we're actually doing that on some of our own farms.
Okay.
So it would be through the soil and water side
Okay.
of the NRCS, right here in the county. And those funds come from a couple different places, I understand. So we could certainly look at that. I know that there may be different programs for pasture versus, say, the fence along the row crop, I'm not sure. But we're doing one on a farm here this summer that is covering a good portion of it. I think if we do the work ourselves, it will cover all the expense, so.
So is it separated out there around the pasture itself? I mean, fence all the way around it?
Yeah, and it's pretty, Brian, probably the toughest fence there is the fence between the crop ground and the pasture up on that hill there. Now, the good news is we've removed all of those trees actually this winter as well, so you wouldn't have any tree removal costs. It would just be strictly taking the old fence out and putting a new one in. But again, I don't want to make it sound like this is, that we can't work with it. Right, it's not an emergency. We've been able to make it work, and I think when I rented it, Woodruff's had a hot wire on there just to be safe, so the cattle wouldn't push it. But it's workable, but if there's funds available in the cost share, it might be a good time to go ahead and get that done if the board was willing, so. Otherwise, I think we're in pretty good shape.
Okay.
I also let Brian know, just as there's plenty of time to do this, but you wouldn't have to make a decision until September 1st. September 1st is the serve notice of the farm lease ground in Iowa, so this isn't something that would have to be done right away, but if you decided on a term or a lease, terms, we have all spring and summer before we would have to notify each other of any change of this lease, so.
Okay, sounds good.
Any other questions?
Giving us a lot to think about.
Yeah, well, thank you for putting faith in us. We really do enjoy the farm. It's very much appreciated, so,
Thanks, Justin.
thank you.
Appreciate
Thanks.
it.
Have a good day.
Okay. A lot of information.
Well, I suggest we table it for a little longer so I can look into some more
A little
things.
bit, get some more information. Okay. So if that's okay, we will table it for a little bit. Circle around. Okay. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to number 8, the employment agreement with the interim county attorney. We have this, anything you want to say about this, Jim, our 30-day employment agreement?
The only thing I would say is, if we're going to do interviews tonight for the county attorney position, I just wanted the board to know that if I'm not selected, of course, I would still intend to be the interim until such time as whoever's selected as the county attorney can get on the ground and start doing the job. So I don't want anyone to think that I'll leave in a huff and then just abandon you.
I hope not.
So if you want to table this until after you make a decision on the county attorney position, I would assume if I were selected, I'd get sworn in before this interim. So it's up to you.
See, but we said that we needed to do it before the 31st, right?
Right, and so if you're
So we wouldn't have another meeting before then.
what I'm saying is,
Right.
if you make a decision, I don't know whether you will or not.
And I don't know whether we will tonight or not. I have not heard from our other candidate who is, we might not have the third candidate interview tonight because she has a jury trial and she's supposed to let me know.
Okay, that's fine.
So perhaps we need to go ahead with this,
I understand.
if that's agreeable with everybody, just to cover ourselves. And I think maybe so, okay?
Yeah, I would think just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, okay,
So
so,
I'd make a motion that we go ahead and approve that employee agreement
okay.
for
do I have a
interim
second?
county attorney.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor of the 30-day employment agreement with Mr. Varley?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. So I will sign this. And Jim, if you want to sign this. Today, this is the 24th, right? 25, and then we'll have it. Then we're covered. Thank you very much. Okay. Our next item is board communication. I went to a Avanci meeting just before I came here today. So. You have anything? You can't remember?
No, I had Zion yesterday, and then, we did the assessor board last night, and
Yeah,
then
we had the assessor last night, yeah.
Thursday I have RPA and SWIPCO, I believe.
Okay,
One in the morning, one in the afternoon.
okay. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Nothing? Okay. All right, our next item is to approve claims. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve the claims.
Okay, do I hear a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion to, motion carried. Okay. Next item is to approve the minutes from the 18th.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes.
A second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay. All right. Okay. Budget discussion, we kind of, we're having to redo, Kristen is having to redo some things because of the 2080 year and the 2088 year that we had issues about. Some misinformation was given out, so we're having to redo those. We have interviews scheduled beginning at 4:45. We're going to interview, our first person to interview is a candidate from Montana, and we're going to do what we did with the auditor candidates. We're going to zoom in the interviewees, I guess you would say, and we're not going to record the interviews. We're going to Zoom them, but we're not going to record them because we didn't do that with the auditors either. So We will begin those at 4:45. Do we have anything else that we need to discuss before then?
Do we have, I guess, will there be budget meetings or something with the, like before all the recalculation and stuff? And
We're trying,
once that's all
Kristen's trying to get them all
recalculated,
recalculated, yeah.
we get some new sheets or something?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, she's trying to get them all done, so,
Okay.
yes.
Alright.
And then we'll see where we come, so,
That's gotta be done by April 30th or something?
well, April 1st is when we have the budget hearing,
Okay, gotcha.
so that will be next week. That's the proposed tax levy, yes.
Oh, okay.
So, but we still have, we gotta get them done real quick.
So that's
It's
next,
just, yeah,
so
that's
that's
next
during
week.
our meeting next week?
That's yes, and what we'll do next week, that's scheduled for 4:15, and that has to be a separate meeting.
Oh, yeah,
So
that's
we'll,
right.
we'll start the meeting, and then we'll stop the meeting and have the budget hearing, and then we'll restart the meeting.
Okay.
So, yes. As I said, we'll have the candidate from Montana first.
Do we want to take a recess?
We can, and then, I was just gonna say, and then Jim Varley will be second, and then our candidate from Orange City, if she's finished with her jury trial, will be our next one. Did you want, we can take it, do you need a recess?
No, I
Okay.
I didn't know if you wanted
Do
to.
you wanna, did you wanna discuss that? I know you mentioned it the other day.
Yeah, I need to talk to
Michelle, do we need to talk to
Michelle.
Michelle?
I would like to talk to some people before, I haven't talked to anybody on the conservation board yet.
I wondered
so-
if anybody, did you hear anything about the meeting last night? I didn't either. I'm sorry, what? 30 people there. Have you heard anything about it, Sheriff?
I have not heard
About-
anything about conservation, no.
Okay.
I
Did
just
you?
wanted to remind everybody about tomorrow, the groundbreaking.
Yes.
At 3:30 at the new jail site.
Yes,
Hope that all you guys can make it.
Yep.
Perfect.
I hope so.
Yes, you're speaking, ma'am.
You're supplying the shovels?
Yes, shovels are there.
Okay.
I checked on that this morning.
Good, thanks.
Is somebody gonna hold me up while I shovel? My balance isn't very good. Anyway, we have 8 minutes if anybody needs to take a break.
I'm not gonna sit through the interview.
You're not gonna sit through it,
So if
okay?
you get done early and you want me to come back.
Okay, all right. We must have Michelle on here already.
Yep. Hi, Michelle, how are you? I think you're muted.
No, I'm not. Hi, how are you?
Oh. We'll wait a few more minutes, maybe.
Okay,
I
that
guess-
sounds great.
I guess we could start early, but. Huh? I guess we don't have to because we don't have a time on here, do we? Okay.
Is that good for you? Are you ready?
Yes, I'm absolutely ready.